back.
Hi, all.
Kathy is still in Newfoundland, and but she's just managed to connect in with us, even though there is a bit of a time difference. And we're so excited. I mean, we have in this gap of time between last season and this season, we have tried to keep the flames alive with all the extra things that we were doing. But now we are back. I am so excited.
More importantly, the show is back.
Yes, that's what I mean. The show is back. And I'm going to try not to jump around on my seat so much. I notice that I do that a lot. Look, I have my When Calls the Heart shirt on, and I have my Hearties mug, and I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
How about everyone else down here? Are they ready? They're already saying hello to each other and going back and forth with the whole beats and stuff. I already started.
Welcome to all newcomers. I think we have, one or two folks, who dialed in to who haven't been here before. So welcome. We're glad to have you.
Let's see. I saw someone, and if you've been here all along, please don't be insulted. We try so hard, like there's quite a lot of people, and we try so hard to remember everyone. Kay, I don't know if you're new to this because you're saying hello to us from South Dakota, home of Laura Ingalls Wilder, another show I loved. So excited for tonight. Well, whether you've been here or not before or now, we're excited that you're here with us. All right. I see lots of friendly faces that I recognize. Do we know LJ? That sounds familiar, from Texas.
People sounds a little familiar, but
yeah,
I can't.
Yeah. And I have I highlighted a few things that I'll bring up me when I'm ready, but oh look. Remy Rose, you are always commenting all over the videos after they post, which is wonderful. And I get to chat with you that way. Now I get to chat with you in real time. She's saying, hello, Hearties. I finally got to catch a live chat. I'm actually sitting in a hotel waiting to board a plane to Canada. Oh, my goodness. Remy Rose, where are you going? You're not from Canada, are you? I would love to know where you're going if you don't mind letting us know. Yeah. What else? What's this? This is Stella. I caught this group during the way home recaps and finally caved and caught up on all 9 seasons. I hope you loved it, Stella. We're so happy that you're here. And Jan wants to know, Kathy, are you still in Newfoundland?
I just have a foot in both worlds. I love When Calls the Heart beyond all measure, but I feel the same way about Republic of Doyle. And so I actually forgot to change the background, but between those two shows, I'm just hitting that DVR and rewind and fast forward and checking out episodes. So just real quick, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, Republic of Doyle, fabulous show. Join us on Thursday nights and we talk about it. It's from a few years back. It's from Newfoundland and it's fabulous. And so back to When Calls the Heart.
Just for a segue into that too, you will recognize so many characters. They have a wonderful tight cast, and one of their main characters is Linda Boyd, who is, we Hearties know her. She's Mama. She's the mama to Aaron. So she's on there and she's amazing. She's a really great part. And then you will see some other characters from When Calls the Heart, like Julie, which is Charlotte Hegley. She guest stars on there. And then you'll see, if you're a true Hallmark fan, you will see all kinds of actors that are throughout, like past 10, 20 years that have done Hallmark. So it's
huge
fun to watch.
Crossover. Yeah.
Yes, it's fun to watch the crossovers.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to put a little star by some of these questions that I'm seeing as they're coming up. And you're helping each other out too, which is good. So I think we're kind of loaded in. We've got 107 right now. So I think we'll just get started. And if anybody misses anything, they could come back. So usually I try as much as we can to have some guests join us in the beginning. And they're very, very, very kind. And they give us generous with their time, and they'll say they give us 15 minutes, and we always hold them hostage for at least a half hour. And we're going to struggle with that this year because of the strike, but for a good cause, and no hard feelings with that. I support them tremendously. So I had wanted to have on Remy for a while, and she is the new character of Sarah Wolf. She is absolutely super talented. I mean, she's a young girl and she is so talented. So her dad runs her Instagram account. So if you're all on Instagram, if you want to follow her, it's her name. And I will put her name right here. And Kathy, will you pronounce her last name for me?
Sure, it's Marthaller.
So it is Marthaller. And I'm putting it right here. She's a doll. And we're going to talk a little bit about her because then you'll want to look her up. And I think she's going to add some sass and spice to the collection of kiddos. What do you think?
I think she will, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to add this in. I'm going to go back. Close your eyes. This makes you dizzy. Sorry. So here she is. This is Sarah Wolf. And of course, this is behind the scenes. She is such a doll. And she's been in quite a few movies and some Hallmark, some not. She's very talented. If you have not had the opportunity, I'm going to take Jan's. Can you find Jan's comment by any chance? Is it highlighted on your end?
Just a sec.
I'm going to take it down. If you haven't seen Night Agent, it's a really good series. It's on Netflix, and she is in it. She's in the very beginning. There is, like, if no one's seen it, this very much intense scene on the underground, the train, the subway kind of thing. Something like very explosive happens, and she's the little girl that's in it. She's amazing. And then also here on Firefly Lane, she plays, I think it's, what's the character's name? I have it, Mara. She's like the young version of Mara. So she has like big titles behind her. Now, these two Christmas movies, I found it. I got it. These two Christmas movies, she actually won this one here, A Miracle, Mrs. Miracle Christmas. She is in that one. And then she has a really cute scene with a tea party in it, but it's like very heartwarming and touching. And because of that scene, she was nominated for an award. But Joy of Christmas, this is a GAC movie. She actually won an award for that one. And there she is at the Joey Awards. Look how cute she is.
She's a cutie, yeah.
She's such adorable. And then this she actually, I love this. I zeroed in on it. Look at the pure joy on her face. This is a different award, and I wanted to show it's a Nova and the CW, which starts off, a lot of the shows start off in Canada, and then we get that channel, and we'll get it maybe a season later or whatever here in the States. But they also have CW Seed, which I think is truly just like streaming. But anyway, there is a series on there called a two sentence horror stories, and she won for her episode. Which, look at that, and her little award. It doesn't show you here, but she's all very refined, and she's having this lovely dessert, and next to it is a package of Sour Patch Kids. Like, it just like lives in two worlds. Does a lot of mature stuff here. All right. Oh, that we will come back to. So this is Remy. I hope that if you're interested, I like to follow a lot of the actors in the cast. Maybe, we'll start following her. Her father runs, I think it's her father, it's parent account. And I've only chatted with dad. He runs her account. So he has all kinds of goodies on there if you're interested. All right. And then if everything goes well, and if the strike ends before then, we'll have Remy on this time around. All right. We've got some new comments going on.
I no longer have the privilege to select comments. So one of these days you're gonna have to re-privilege me. I think it's been so long. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Bobby here says, finally watching live chat. I've always been tardy watching. Love you all in When Calls the Heart, especially love watching Lucas. Yeah, there are many people here that love watching Lucas. that says, I think they had Sarah come to replace Opal since Opal isn't real little anymore. Maybe, yeah. And it's time for her. Like technically, I had said this in one of my predictions. We should be seeing a while back. We should be seeing Robert's sister because she's of school age, and she shares a birthday with little Jack, but they're 1 year apart. We had said that before. All right, Miss Kathy, you ready to dive in? Let's go. I'm
I
ready.
I I went into last night without expectations. In other words, I wasn't expecting or hoping that Rosemary would have her baby or Lucas and Elizabeth would get married. I didn't have any expectations. And, I just wanted to see what happens. And I felt really good. I wasn't overwhelmed, but again, I didn't expect to be. You know what it was like? It was like um, being someone who had been away from their hometown for a while. And I went back to visit the hometown. And it was great catching up with all of my friends and family and seeing what everyone has been up to and what's new in their lives. That's exactly how I felt. Like I was just connecting again with family members and friends. So I was really, really, I enjoyed it. I was quite content with what they did, and they opened up several new possibilities for stories. And
They
I'm
introduced
just
them.
dying to see what they do with them. Now, I'm getting excited for the rest of the season to see what they do with all these little threads they started pulling at in the episode last night. And it was great to see some things haven't changed. Uh, Between Minnie and Lucas, it seems like they've kind of evolved into the heart of Hope Valley. Um, Minnie it's kind of obvious why she would be. Lucas has just kind of slowly but surely turning into the cheerleader for the community and keeping the community together. He, from offering up the Queen of Hearts. I don't know if it's still called the same thing now,
It
but
is.
when he opened that up for movie night,
Mm-hmm.
and then he had sponsored so many special events there when he had at Christmas time
Mm-hmm.
the lanterns going up in the air. He did something special for Hope Valley Days, and then last night the special dinner. I it, and I think part of that is I'm remembering a conversation he had with Elizabeth, where he was by the Christmas tree, and she had to remind him that we're your family now.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think he took that to heart, and everything from him going to Lee asking him to be the best man, and they hugged each other, but they didn't do that superficial man hug where they put the little arm between them like we're too manly to really hug. They really hugged it out.
That's because they're cute and real
I know.
friends in life.
Yeah,
Um,
that was very, very touching. I love that.
I wanted to say something about what you were saying, how we were getting introduced to all the different little threads. I felt that that's what this was. This was very much an introductory type of episode. And it was written by the showrunner, Lindsay. I wanted to point that out. She wrote it. So maybe it was, she's trying to get all her storylines in and for the rest of the season, which is 12 episodes. And I was just a little surprised that there wasn't like a main story. I was hoping that there'd be a main story in each episode, like there used to be, that would happen and then be resolved. And there wasn't, except for maybe a little bit of what happened to the wolves. But otherwise, it was, like you said, all the different, I guess, the groundwork, the hints for what's to come.
And I'm wondering if this is kind of a signal that Robert is going to play more of a big role in for the rest of the season now that they've given him an entire family. I mean, it seems strange to me they'd introduce mom and dad and make a big deal about them staying in town, and then we don't see them anymore.
Right,
So
right.
and now he's going to go work for Lee. So it's very interesting to me what they're going to do with Robert and his family.
I think so too. I had highlighted this when we first started. Marianne Curtis, she's saying last night's episode has to be one of my favorite season openers. And Rona said the same thing. Last night's episode has quickly become my very favorite episode, which is this is how they're feeling. They like it as an intro, which is nice.
It was nice to see that Martin, not Martin, Gowan. It was nice to see him because it really showed that he has evolved, but not too much to make it unrealistic. He's changed and improved, but he's still Henry Gowan that, didn't want to go to the surprise. But you can tell he's mellowed and he's more approachable, I guess is what I would say. He's opened himself up just a little bit more. And for, how we have MVP, I've also got an MAP, most aggravating person in the episode, and that had to be Bill the Grouch, Judge Bill. I don't know. He's such a proud man, and he loved being a judge. He loves being the mayor. He's such a Hope Valley institution, and he loves his friends, his loved ones, everyone's there, and yet he's being so stubborn about his illness and not wanting to first admit something's wrong and then do something about it, seek help for it. I just find that perplexing. I don't know, but he was really like, I wanted to smack him.
Do you know what? I'm not surprised he behaved that way. He was a grump and he'd had a lot of scowl on his face all the time. But I'm not surprised because he's the kind of man who is used to getting things done and he can't cure himself. He's the kind of guy that doesn't do well when they get sick because he can't imagine that something is wrong. And he didn't go back, as Faith said, to even go see the doctor. He didn't show up and he goes, well, I've been to so many. They say they don't know what it is, or I can live to 10 years. So I think that's what it is. It's he can't control. I mean, I have a family member who has to be in control of everything. And when it comes to her health and she can't control it, she breaks down and has like a panic attack. And it kind of reminds me of what's going on with Bill. But I love his relationship with Elizabeth. And I love when she says they have to take a walk or a hike and she comes with that stick. And he's like, who's that stick for?
Yep.
And then he's like using it and then he throws it. Then I love when he says to the kids, oh, we got to put a sign up. No one could be here. Oh my gosh. And the two kids jump in. And then he said, you could drown, and they stand up, which gave me a little false hope because you could drown in that much water, but anyway.
Yeah. I just, he's still so young, relatively speaking. This is from,
yes, he is.
He's one of my people. And there's still so much vital storyline that could be for him other than
this.
I'm just sickly. And where in the world was Molly?
With their relationship, she was there. They snuck her in.
Well, I mean, with the whole, Mommy and Bill.
He just shows up. He walks in and people are like, oh, Bill, you're back. That happened twice. Even Elizabeth's like, oh, Bill, you're back. And I'm thinking, where's Molly? Because when that ended, she was all excited to share her story with Faith, but then Faith had other things happening, so she put that off. So I'm like, and there was a time lapse, a time gap, and he was away, but now he's back all this time, and there's no story with Molly. He doesn't check in with her. He doesn't see her. They don't even see each other passing. It's not like it's a crowded town. And like, I thought they fell off with that one. Lindsay, I'm glad you're here and you're the new showrunner, but Lindsay, what happened? What happened to Bill and Molly? I'm crushed a bit about it because I want to see that. I've been waiting.
And then there's Come and Knock on Our Door.
Come and knock on our door.
Yeah, 3 is company. What did you think of the whole we're now roomies and closer than this and that whole setup?
I'm loving it. I'm looking at some of the comments I wanted to share. I love the idea of the girls, and I had predicted they'd live upstairs, and they are. And I mean, it's obvious, but I love knowing where they live. But I think that there's a whole bunch of not a whole bunch, there's room for all kinds of stories. And you disagree with this. I like this. I like that when it ended in season 9, I didn't want them, like Nathan, to be deciding who was it he cared about, right? So I love that it was just simple and easy, like, yeah, just didn't work out with May and I, we're good. And even May says, yeah, we're good. It just didn't happen. It happened off camera. And Kevin had said that was happening. But something with Faith did too, but something went wrong. And it looks like the two girls, Fiona and May, are pushing Faith and Nathan together, even Fiona, and that aggravated you, right? You said Fiona's a big busybody.
Like, Deanna, why don't you go find somebody for yourself if you've got all this time on your hands? I don't know. I just
She's supposed to have a good storyline this year, and I
I,
hope that she does. And
I
I
just
hope,
don't want her to turn into the town busybody.
yes, I don't. Which, backing up to that, because we all know who the town busybody is, and she kind of married the town busybody, didn't she?
Yeah.
Those two, it's Flo and Ned, right? I
Mhm.
love the scene when Lucas walks in and he says, and he's all excited to talk to Minnie about it, but he's like, well, you can announce it and run around and tell everybody tomorrow at what time. And Ned was a little like, oh, I wanted to know. And Lucas was like, no, he was having none of it. And out the door went he and Minnie, who I love that. Now somebody had put what happened with where I think I highlighted it right here. Jan said, interesting that Minnie was the one cooking instead of G. Well, Gustav, I think the actor I know for a fact he was in something big. I forget where. He is European. He is English. I think he's English or Welsh, or I don't want to insult anybody's heritage, but I remember, because I talked to his agent, that he is, well, we'll say British, because that encompasses many. I think that's what he is, and he was involved in something. His character is still there, but one of the things was he was having Minnie help cook because Gustav wouldn't cook beets. Remember, he was
Yeah.
having none of it, and everybody over here was talking about the beet stuff. I have a beet recipe I put up. All right, so go ahead, keep going.
That was pretty much it. I thought it was a little odd. Rosemary seemed a little insensitive, and then Elizabeth seemed like really, really understanding and, not getting aggravated with her. But I thought it was just kind of, you're getting these free maternity dresses, so don't be an ingrate. And then to change them, materially change them, when Elizabeth said, I'd like these back. I mean, she
Whatever
made.
you don't want.
Hmm?
Whatever you don't want, I'll take back.
And but she pointed out that one wasn't the one that she altered. Didn't she say, oh, that one's my favorite? I don't know. I'm glad to see that it didn't cause a thing with them. It was kind of in character and yet out of character that she would just change
character.
But maybe it's hormones. She's pregnant.
Yes. And she's very much got the attention on her, and she loves that attention. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and then because she knows herself, because she said to Lee, of course, it was very thoughtful. It's Elizabeth, but I'm me, and I need a little. And she went like, there, and it's true. It is that is how she
go
is.
back and spend the money and order your flair.
Because they were saving money. That's how she cut back. Remember?
I know, but then she complained about it. So
yeah,
she really.
That irks us just means that it's good writing.
Well, of course, I'm not complaining. I mean,
no, yeah.
I'm sharing my feelings.
I'm going with you. Dorothy is saying, can someone tell me what is that? Oh, we had talked about Fiona, and I feel like we jumped back. I didn't want to miss this. What was she wearing around her waist? Those are all like instruments that she would need for cutting hair, although she didn't cut one piece of hair that we saw. She didn't shave one cheek. I don't know what she did other than moved in and danced and was a busybody.
Tried to make sure people got together who she thought needed to be together.
I know. Let's see. I'm just looking. Do we know if the strike affects the dog Scout? He is adorable. Arlene, I don't know, but I have to tell you, I am on a hunt to find Scout because I want to have Scout on. I already said this from the get-go, and he's not listed anywhere, so I have to call in my so there are people that I can talk to and ask questions, but I don't want to be a busybody, so I have like a little mini list. so I'm not constantly, bothering people, and they are receptive to answering me. So I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask, and one of them is about the dog Scout. And I don't know. I have no idea if he or she, because we don't know if it's a boy or girl, is affected by the strike. Okay.
And what about the big news?
And the
I
big
keep,
news.
I keep wanting to say Pine Valley tonight. I don't know why. I think
Go
somebody
ahead.
else, did put that bug in my ear. The big news is that despite all the businesses that have been failing, they've got a new opportunity.
Yes.
And the kids first found it. And
Yes.
what'd
The
you think?
springs, the hot springs.
Yep.
And we know that it's going to be something big. And when I saw this and discovered it, I was like, oh my gosh. So I went and I talked to Sarah, who's the set decorator, and she gave me some info, and she told me who the designer was, because I thought that was kind of, it is real. There are real woods out there, and there isn't a real hot spring. So everybody's calling it the hot tub now, which I love. And so I reached out to the designer, and she designs all kinds of wonderful things. And I talked with her and her agent just the other day, and she'll be on. Her name is Gail, and she'll be our guest um after episode 1 and 2 have premiered. So is it the 14th? I think it's not next Monday, but the Monday after that. So she's not affected by the strike, and she'll be on, which is a good thing. So she's going to tell us all about it.
I think that that's a great opportunity to do a crossover with The Way Home. And it turns out that the Springs is actually another portal to time. I don't know. It's just an idea. If you're listening out there, crossover.
Okay. All right. Grammy Rose is saying, I love the episode last night. I did miss a kiss between Lucas and Elizabeth in their first scene. Yeah, they weren't kissing so much as they always do. But I have to tell you, I loved, okay, so now they're having their community dinner, which I loved. I love that. I love what Pastor Joseph had to say, and the poem that was read, and just all them out dancing and stuff. I thought that was adorable. But what I don't know if anybody saw, so Lucas went around. I just thought, I have to say, this is not very Hallmarkish, I know, but I feel that Chris as Lucas, and he's not the only one I'm going to say this about, was quite like sexy. I know it's not a word we normally use when we talk about When Calls the Heart, but he had this like charisma, teasing, like he's that. Remember when he first was wooing but not really wooing Elizabeth, and he would tease her with when she was he's reading her story, and they had that, like, or when he first met her and she came in and she was hot under collar and he's mad and she's like, oh, tell me what she won, meaning Allie. So we see a little bit of that devilishness, and he has to, like, his dimples come out. But anyway, he asks her to dance. He puts his hand out. She says yes. And they're in the background. And the Coulters, who I love them, kind of are blocking the way. But if you look, and this tickles me more because you know that they're out there ad-libbing their way around whatever they're doing, right? That's what I'm going to call it, or improving, right? He takes both her hands. Did you see this? And he kissed both their hands, and then they started to dance. And I was like, I loved it. I had to keep going back to look at it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, I think what we're seeing is the evolution of Lucas and Elizabeth. And they started out, that firecracker kiss on the bridge, and then the next, all of season 9. And now they've mellowed out and they're comfortable with each other. And I love this stage. I love it that they don't have to be kissing all the time, but they just know we're together. We're a couple. The whole world knows it. And so they just, I think they've hit their stride. I was a little disappointed we didn't, unless I missed something, there wasn't a scene with Jack and Lucas. I wanted to see the buddies and how they've evolved over the past, whatever is past in Hope Valley time. But we did get to see little Jack and Bill, so that was
good
something too. Yeah.
We he's a little guy. He's doing such a great job. I love it. I love how the other kids, he's always sitting next to another kiddo, and they're always, talking with him and dancing. Opal danced with him, and I love that. I love that there are more kids like Toby. We don't know who Toby belongs to, but Toby is there.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we'll find out who else it is. And I like that they paired him up as a good friend with Cooper, because Christian is the actor and he's very tall, handsome guy now, and he's getting older. Reminds me more of someone who is more like Robert's age. I'm wondering if they'll make him graduate this year, you know. So Timmy. And he was in, he had a hectic schedule, I think, this summer too, but he was there. There were some other children that we saw like in the background, and I liked it. And I hope we see more stories that revolve around the kiddos. I hope we find out exactly who Toby is, because I didn't see that. But again, this was an introduction to a lot of different storylines. So we know that there's something going on between Elizabeth and Lucas with the wedding, especially when they had that. This is where I saw him teasing her. They came where she's like, well, we could elope. And he's like, no. And they're laughing.
And that's such a reverse. Usually it's the
Yes.
fella who's like, get rid of all of it. But he is totally into, we're going to have this wedding.
Yes.
And, you know, I was thinking where they were headed with this when she said we could elope. I was kind of cringing, like, I hope the next thing out of her mouth is, you know, I had the big wedding already, so we can just elope.
I know.
Yeah, so I was glad that he put the kibosh on that real, and it wasn't even, let's talk about it. It was like, no.
And I love, there was this, okay, a little bit prior to that, when he's standing there with with the basket of beets, and he's standing there with Mike, right? And Mike's like, thank you for hiring me. I think those two are going to be hilarious together. I can't wait. But I caught this and I thought that this tickled me when she's off in the distance a little bit talking, and he's like, it's the best decision I made hiring you.
Yes.
And then he looks over and he's like, well, and he sees Elizabeth, and so does Mike. Mike looks too, and he goes, well, it's the second best decision I made. And Mike laughs and looks at her and gives a laugh. So there's her pretend boyfriend, and there was her real boyfriend, and they both had to. I thought that was funny. I thought that both of them looked over. Yeah,
I love the new Cash. Lucas, what did you think?
The who?
Casual. He's
oh yes,
not just his clothes, his whole demeanor. He was so much more relaxed.
And that's what he said. He said, it's not, we shouldn't all be, you know, always working. You know what else? There was a new character, a hot, handsome man that was hilarious. I love when Joseph and Lee talk to each other and the funny, sarcastic stuff that they say. So the gentleman comes up, and his wife, I guess, knitted something for the baby and handed it to Lee, and Joseph is there with his clipboard, and then he walks away, and Joseph goes, when do we hire him? And he's like, well, you know, the Lord, you said the Lord's going to provide. And he's like, yeah, I do say that. Did you catch that gentleman? I don't remember what his name was. They even said his wife's name. I thought they said something like,
you're not talking about Richard Wolff.
No. It's a young African-American guy. And well, maybe not. He could be Canadian, black man. And he's young, got tight curly hair, comes around to talk to him.
I wonder if that was his kid that was sitting next to little Jack.
Oh, I don't even know. But he is cute, and I'm like, oh, a new townsperson that we get to see, someone else. So I'm excited. Yeah, I know. And I put that up. I'm like, anybody know who this man is? Who's this man? But nobody said anything because he's not listed in any of the credits anywhere. So we've got a lot of little intros to fun things that can go along the way. I'm just going to check what everyone's saying before we move on, because I want to talk about Nathan. Yes, Jan, Robert has started to looking so much older. Yes.
Allie too. She's looking very mature now.
Yeah. And Tony says, I love the surprise dinner that brought the entire community together. I thought it was a great, for an intro episode, a great way to kick it off, because it kind of sets the tone, right, of what this is going to be about. Community working together, which I was hoping we would go back to. Yeah.
And I look at moments like that, and especially with Lucas, like when he goes in to ask Bill to be his best man, and he was so comfortable. I mean, he just kind of sticks his head in the door, and Lee is on the phone, and he's just like, come on over, sit down. And he sits down. The comfort level is just, you know, off the charts. And I think about, contrast that to when he first came to town, and everybody was kind of like, who's the new guy? And what's he about? And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people were suspicious of him, including Fiona and Bill. And now he's just such an important part of the fabric of the community. I mean, yeah, I just love how he has worked his way into the community.
I love that. I definitely can see it. I love how he did the dinner, and of course, because he's going to be, is Elizabeth's. The show is mainly about Elizabeth and all the lives she touched. I can see where he has a bigger part. The only thing is, I would never have guessed that that is who he would have chosen as his best man. I do love that they're friends, that they're closer. I get that, especially because of Rosemary. But I would have thought, and I talked about
Henry,
this, pardon me.
Henry,
Yes,
I did too.
Henry. I'm like, what the heck? Henry should, they are very close. They've talked and shared from the get go so much.
Yeah,
And I truly, truly thought that it would have been Henry.
yeah.
So
But
I was a
you know
little,
what? He may have a more important role for him.
I don't know. I don't know, but that was a little upsetting to me. Let's see, Karen, but I'll get over that. Karen says they usually plant seeds and they will carry us into the season. This is true, Karen. But I also liked back in the day when they would have a story for each episode that would basically more or less get resolved. And the only one I kind of saw was the one with Robert's family. And that's okay. I don't mind all the stories, intertwining, but I thought with the new showrunner, maybe it would have changed. And this is great. Cindy, you're the best here. You couldn't beat the community dinner. Oh my gosh. I wonder if the comments about Gustav not cooking beets was a hint that we're not going to see him anymore. No, we will. I
Yeah.
think we will. Yeah, yeah. Christina, it loves the connection between Lucas and Lee because it mirrors the connection between Elizabeth and Rosemary. And there's a lot that they're going to raise babies together. They're going to grow together. I get that.
And he needs a BFF.
Yeah. Christine says, I did during the community dinner, I did notice Laura's dad was there, but she wasn't. Also, Opal was parentless. Um, Opal has been parentless for a very long time. And it's just something they don't address. The same with Timmy has been parentless for a long time. But Laura's dad was there because Laura's dad usually doesn't come to any functions ever. He stays back. I missed that. Did you know Laura's dad was there?
I didn't notice that.
Oh, okay. All right. And Tony thought it was a touching moment that he asked Lee. I liked it. Yeah. Oh, Stella thought the dinner was going to be an engagement party. No, I think they're not going to. I think they've moved on or away from that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Rona's guest is saying that okay, let's see. I was pleased Lucas asked Lee, but surprised. They really haven't interacted much in the past few seasons. Yes and no. When they did, though, it was always because of his support of, he looks out for Elizabeth, they did do some stuff together community wise, but I know I was surprised, and it's okay. Time has elapsed. They've been doing more together. I'm okay with all of that. I had even predicted that we would see date nights possibly with the four of them, but again, that's not who I thought he would have chosen as his best man. And
I'm hoping that we see some cute scenes with Lucas and Lee, when Rosemary goes into labor and somebody has to calm Lee down,
Yes, yes. I like this. This is true. Looks like Henry and Bill will become friends, more understanding of each other. I think when we had our hopes, wishes, and dreams for this season, we were talking about that. We needed to see some kind of resolution, and it looks like those guys will be winding up bonding together, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's been coming. They've been foreshadowing that for a few seasons now. That Lucas and Lucas, Henry and Bill have been getting a little closer and understanding each other more.
Right. Oh, Emily's here. I like what I know what you're going to say, Emily. I was thinking this. I'm going to highlight your stuff in 1 minute, Emily. Grammy Rose. I have to tell you, when I see your handle, your name, this has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with me. Grammy is what I used to call my Italian grandma. We don't call her Nona or anything. We call her Grammy. And Rose is my niece's name. And when the two together always feels like a warm hug, Grammy Rose. I love that. I'm with you. Bill is getting on my nerves. Being so grumpy reminds me of someone close to me.
Me
Aw,
too. Me too. Someone very close to me
you shared
was
that.
in denial for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until it was too late. So, yeah.
Emily, this is what Emily's saying. Bill is going through the stages of grief slash denial. It is all part of the process. I give him a little grace. And yes, that's what I was trying to say earlier, Emily. Um, Emily always has that medical background in her brain when she's looking at something. And I agree. I remember, and I'm going to talk about Nathan while we're here since we brought Emily's here. I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. He's the type of guy, though, who takes control and does stuff. And now he can't. He can control his health to a certain extent, but it's all we're not sure. And he's not real relaxed with the idea of doing what Faith is suggesting. Not that he doesn't have faith in Faith. I think again, he can't handle it and he's got to get a grip. That's kind of like what Elizabeth's like, seize the day. Let's go.
He's not reaching out to the people who can help him.
Yes,
that's what I don't understand.
Well,
it'd be different if he talked to someone and they said, okay, this is your situation, but it can get better. I could see him then going back saying, no, I can't accept this. I'm not dealing with it. He won't even reach out to find out what the issue is he's dealing with.
Well, he did say that he saw various doctors and so many of them said that he could live 10 years, and so many of all they could tell him was that there was something wrong with his lungs. He was looking for a definitive answer. I'm
Yeah.
pretty scared. He's afraid and he's scared. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's probably how I would be, and probably you wouldn't be. So we're thinking how we would handle ourselves,
I'm
right?
like, what do we do next?
I know, and I'm the kind that's scared and would be in denial for a while.
Nope.
So I think we're bringing our own perspectives here. Christina is agreeing with you, Emily. Let's see. Mary's saying Bill seems to be feeling the old grouch of Hope Valley, not wanting to change. Kind of. He's not. He's really grouchy right now. But you know what I think? I think that what he needs is somebody so I feel like he doesn't always want to confide in Elizabeth, even though he loves her dearly, because he wants to protect her, just like he always wanted to protect Clara. But I think that he would really, like, Molly could be a confidant for him. Those two can truly lean on each other, and she wants to take care of him, and he wants to probably take, like, I want to listen. Whoever's writing that storyline, I'm waiting for it. Don't disappoint me this year. I want to see Bill reaching out to Molly. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Please don't make the springs a magic springs that's gonna just cure Bill or cure his attitude. Like, don't go there. We've got a magic spring already on another show, so let's just make this realistic, please.
Okay. I agree, Emily. Miriam's agreeing with you. And Tony, I think he's doing a great job showing how hard it is to be a proud man. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Henry was filling that role quite nicely.
They both are. They both are very proud men and very strong men, usually get used to getting their way. And that's probably why they would always, butt heads. Yeah. All right. Avis is saying, because then I wanted to talk about Nathan. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I love the whole episode. I love that Lucas and Elizabeth are excited about their wedding in the fall. I'm glad they danced last night too. Those kisses on her hands before he took her in his arms. You saw it, Avis. It's because we all have eagle eyes. I've taught you all to have eagle eyes. Not that you didn't before, but I made you do it even more now. Let's see. Oh, look, Miriam is agreeing with me. I love when people agree with me. You're my new best friend for tonight, Miriam. They're all saying how they love the kissing. Loved Rosemary's reaction and her reactions to the maternity dresses. She is not dusty. Yes, we do have some unanswered questions. Um, what happened to Anna living upstairs? I don't know. We do know that she was temporary, right? Before her mom was, she wanted to earn some money and then she was going to go way back or meet her for school. I guess maybe that's what happened. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Julie's saying, I enjoyed the episode too, but I felt that it was all over the place. Maybe the first episode of each season is like that. I don't.
They were planting the seeds and starting the threads for a lot of storylines, I think, that are going to be coming up for the rest of the season. So I think they were kind of skipping around, but for a purpose.
Yeah. Yes. So Emily says, I love that they squashed the triangle right off the bat. And I love how it was just in passing and in a conversation. And even when the girls got together, May's like, I'm good. I'm good with it. And they just moved on. I love that we don't quite know the full story of what's going on with like what happened. They're only hinting. And I saw previews between Nathan and Faith where she's like, there was nothing there. And he's like, what? And I loved his tone. His tone wasn't sarcastic. You have to go back and see the preview. He has like, there's that word again, sexy, hot, like a hot, sexy voice about him. Like it's a different Nathan. Like he and Faith, he must have connected. You could tell, but Faith is still like poo-pooing it off. I know you have different feelings though about Nathan and Faith. Share them, please.
I'm just underwhelmed with the pairing. Nothing wrong with I like Nathan. I like Faith. I guess I'm more of a fan of opposites for there being some tension because people are different. And they just seem too alike to me. So
I feel like she'll be a challenge for him. Like like the dog's a pain in the neck. Wait a minute. What about this scene where Elizabeth and he are fighting over, let me see. And you drew that beautiful picture of the dog. And then it says,
about me. That was funny.
And she got mad at him. And he's like, oh, Allie will get over it. Like she gets over all her crushes and she gives the dog a look. And that dog is here to stay. And I think they even take the dog camping with them because there's this cute, like, close your ears if you don't want people to get spoilers. But he goes camping, but Joseph takes his daughter too, and they're all camping together. I still think that life and death, tell me what you all think, that life and death, where obviously no one dies, that happens is not about Rosemary giving birth. I really think it might be somebody falling into the water because Bill's already said it's not safe. Then they have this time where there's a note that says when the kids can be on, make sure your parents know. I wonder if somebody falls in and almost drowns or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
out loud.
And there's time. I mean, there could be a moment or moments that change my mind, but right now, I'm meh about that pairing.
I like that pairing. I'm excited for it. I saw a lot of chemistry in the previews, especially. It looks like we know that Faith really was feeling it. Not so much like Nathan was just trying to get himself together because Nathan went through a lot last season. So I feel like, and the person that he was connecting with was May because she was there helping him. And I don't know. I think it's going to turn out to be good because Faith has, like, I remember when she wanted to ride the horses in and came around through town and Carson's like, where have you been? And like you were riding, like I think there could be a fun, spicy kind of part to her that kind of makes Nathan want to go save her, but then she doesn't need to be saved and it's an argument, like I don't know. I think there's a lot of great potential there. I'm kind of excited about
We'll
it.
see.
Remy Rose is agreeing with you. She should have asked Elizabeth if she could change them. Oh, the clothing, if she could change them. She dyed it purple. I know, I love that. And then they're saying Rosemary has pregnant brain, so you have to excuse her. Yeah, what's it say? I looked at. It took I took it as Elizabeth giving her those dresses, and if she wanted it, but if she didn't want one, she would take it back. That's what I thought too. So I thought that was, I don't know. The biggest thing I took out of that was Rosemary's going to show her flair, which I loved. And the second thing I took back was Elizabeth's like, if you don't use any, I would like to have them back. Whatever you don't want, I'll take back. And I was thinking, oh, you're thinking about having babies.
Mhm.
Baby Bouchard on the way. Yeah. What's this? I think Nathan getting Scout will be a learning lesson for Nathan, and he'll realize to be a little rigid and to be a little less rigid and adapt to new things. Yeah, but that's his personality. He's kind of like Bill. Like Bill doesn't always like new things. I think that's because they're Mounties. That's the Mountie of them. Although that is not how Jack was, right? Jack was much more like Lucas. He was very much a Renaissance man. He was a
He
protector.
was into everything.
He thought outside of the box. He painted. He was a jokester. He was relaxed. So, I mean, he was totally like different than the typical Mountie.
Maybe we'll see Nathan evolving that way with this new relationship.
That's true, but you don't want to take away from Nathan being who he is.
No, I wasn't taking away. I just said that's why I said evolve.
Evolve.
I didn't say change.
I know, but sometimes when they say evolve, though, not you, but the writers, then all of a sudden the character doesn't look like the character anymore, Like they've made Rosemary evolve. Like she's still a pain in the neck.
Still Rosemary, but she evolved.
Yeah. Martha's saying, I love the chemistry between Elizabeth and Bill. They are cute together, and you could tell how much they care for each other. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and there was like, can you dye it back from pink to purple? That's Rosemary's personality. I love Scout. Everyone's loving Scout. Looks like Elizabeth is willing to elope, but Lucas said no. Elizabeth will have to show patience now. Yes. Yeah. This is true. I thought the reference about Hargraves was still having it in for Nathan by giving him Scout was funny.
Way to connect with the history. I love it when they remember the history of the show, yeah.
Was a bit upset he didn't really ask Art to be a matron of honor. That's because they're not on the same wavelength. It's because she took for granted, she felt like she was being taken for granted that she was going to be asked. And Elizabeth was like, it's a no-brainer. You're my everything. You're my person. You know what I mean? Of course. And then she was like, I'm sorry. And, yeah. Okay, let's see. Nathan and Scout are adversaries. Oh, gosh. Elizabeth did make a comment to Lucas that they needed to get invitations sent to their parents. Yes, wouldn't hijack their wedding. Sounds like the parents will be there. I have a prediction, and I think that a life is getting away from them. I think that they're not going to elope, but they are going to have some type of a small ceremony without family there. And then in the next season, they'll have a big bash where the family could be there. That's just me, and I could be totally wrong. What are your thoughts?
I think they're going to have the big do.
In this season?
Oh, I don't know if it'll be this season. I don't know.
Well, Deb, her family is going to cause potential problems. And the potential problem is really Elizabeth, because Lucas is still not sure if he's deserving. He made a tiny little comment about he's just so about being deserving of her. But you saw in the previews where her father did offer him a job like before. Remember, the aunt was involved, and they did that with Jack, and this is happening all over again.
Yep.
Yeah. Grammy Rose says, I asked my husband if we greet each other with a kiss when we were engaged. Aw. Okay. All right. Arlene says, I love that Opal sat next to Lucas at the community dinner. I can see her having a crush on him. Yes. Yeah. And Cindy, you were going to mention what? I don't know what I said. Cindy. I say lots of stuff. Yes, the guy's wife knitted something for baby Coulter, and he handed the present to Lee on the wagon. Yes, that's that handsome newcomer that I'm wondering. I thought Allie was so pretty last night. I would like to see if
Yes.
she and Tim have chemistry in scenes. Maybe not Tim at Nice yet, but a storyline. You know what? I would like to see no love triangles whatsoever with the younger kids because I don't want everybody doesn't need to be paired up. I want to see them
You
growing
said
up.
that you wrote triangle.
I didn't mean triangle, I meant love relationships.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't want to see any kind of love relationships. I didn't mean to say triangle. I want them just to be growing up. I was glad that Flo was the first to stand up and was grateful for their host, Lucas. Yes. Yes. They're showing she's just so happy married, you know. I mean, she
she's
just is
really softened and mellowed.
yes. She's evolved.
She has. Haven't we all?
What? I said that earlier, Kathy, but apparently Grammy Rose has just seen some negative comments. I
What
don't
does it
know.
mean?
I don't know what happened there, Janice. What's going on between that? I'm just going to scroll on by. Don't know what happened. All right. I love the conversation between Elizabeth and Lucas on the balcony. Love that she acknowledged her admiration for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would have thought Henry too. They probably did it so we could have more Lucas, Elizabeth, Rosemary, Lee storylines. That's true. But you know what? I'm also wondering if I think he'll be a part of the ceremony. And I'm also wondering if maybe they weren't sure if he was going to go to jail or not, or he would have to serve time and he would be there for the wedding. Could that
I've got a prediction like the one you just did.
okay.
Could be totally talking out of my ear.
Okay.
I think, and I alluded to this earlier, I think between Lucas and Elizabeth, they're going to have Henry play some kind of role at their wedding. And I don't know if it's reading a scripture passage. I don't know what it will be, but I think they will have him play a role, and that will be instrumental in him feeling comfortable moving back as part of the community. Because right now he feels like a pariah.
Right. He even made sure he went into the jail and Nathan's like, you don't have to do that. And he goes, that's part of what I have to do and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope so. I guess that would be my big wish, but I'm hoping they have that because they didn't just have him talk with Joseph and start to get in touch with, you know, his inner spirit and the Lord and all that for no reason. That was not just a one-off.
No,
Yeah.
I have like 3 major episodes that are just everything to me for different reasons, and one of them and that's over all the 9 years, and one of them is when Henry got down on his knees to learn how to pray. I told you I need to see him in that church and go through those doors.
Yep.
Not regress, go through the doors. Catherine says Nathan is a good artist. Jack Thornton was a good artist. Yes. Was that a nod to the talents of both of those Mounties? Maybe. I love that they made him a good artist, but we already knew that he had an artistic flair. Remember, he did the wonderful wood carving that he made to go into the library. So he does have an artsy side. I like that. Yeah. Laura's dad was playing the fiddle. Is that who was playing the fiddle? I don't know.
And Joseph was directing them. He's like, okay, stop. Okay, you can start again. Okay, stop. And I'm like, gee, Joseph.
Jed is Laura's dad? I didn't know that Jed was Laura's dad. That's who Laura's dad is. I have to think about that because he usually doesn't go do too much. Okay, if that's who is Laura's dad, then that's definitely it. Yeah. So okay, let's see. I'm just going down with everybody. All right, I want to pop this up because we're coming towards the end. I wanted to share 2 things. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me get this here. Kathy, was there anything else you wanted to share?
Nope.
Okay.
I thought it was a very nice start to the season.
Yes, me too. All right, I'm trying to share. Oh, there's Tanya. She always likes to add a correction. That was Laura's dad, Beets Farmer. Okay, thank you. I wasn't real sure. I don't remember that as Laura's dad. I do know that was Jed, but I don't know why I connected Jed as Laura's dad. I don't know. That's oops on my part. Okay, so first I wanted to tell you that I took and made it. This is on Instagram. It's a real recipe. It's for beet chips. And I'm going to be doing all week beet and turnip recipes. You're going to see them done. This one's called Lucas's secret recipe, and I got Minnie's secret recipe too, and Rosemary's secret recipe that'll be coming up. But that's for beet chips. And if you don't feel like making them, you can actually buy them. Bags of beet chips. You can get them even through Amazon. They're excellent, and they're better than the actual like potato chip because they have less fat. But if you even make them yourself, there's hardly any fat. The trick is to make them sweat. When you slice them and you put them like in a bowl, put a tiny bit of salt and let them sweat out their some of their liquid for like about 20 to 30 minutes. Rinse them and then drizzle just a little bit of olive oil. You can put them in the air fryer, or in this one, I did it on a pan. They're good. All right, so
I heard Michael Jackson was a big fan. So
beets.
Yeah,
I love beets.
Don't you remember Beat It?
That's a wrong beat, but yes. And Tanya said she made that correction, and Tanya's like the fact finder, this one. She's always good with that. And who else is it? Rona is saying, yes, that's her dad. Okay. I don't know why I didn't know that, or I forgot that. Sorry. All right. So you ready? This is for me to send you your prize, and I'm very good at this because I send it through Amazon. Because sometimes things take forever. One time I was using Edify, and that was a whole long process. And the charm bracelet thing we do on the Chris McNally, that's a whole long process because I got to go into the post office here. But this is not. I just send it right to you. If anybody won last year, you know it comes right away. So I want to look at the time. What time is it, Miss Kathy? It is
9:04 Eastern.
Okay, so it's not the hour because everybody's hour is different. Eastern, it's 9. Central, it might be 8. Going further out, it could be 6. So we're looking at the minutes. So at whoever's the first at 06 to tell me what this picture is right here, blown up, what it was from episode 1 at 06. Okay, and when we're going to take that down and take a good look at 06. Whoever's first to type that in right there it should be on your left, right? Okay. All right. I'm going to take it away. Should I leave it up or take it away?
Leave it up.
All right. So I love beets too. They're saying, thank you, Roxanne and Kathy. I love that I got to be in the live chat. Grammy Rose, you had a lot to say, Grammy Rose. All right, 06. We got somebody at 05. Sorry, it has to come up at 06. Let's see. It's not something hanging from Fiona's skirt. That's funny. I don't pay a lot of attention. What is she saying? Hold on, I'm going to go up. I'm not going to hit share. I'm going to read them now. Let's see. Marianne is talking to Emily and saying, I don't pay a lot of attention to the negative comments, just adding that I had seen those as well. Negative comments. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure what negative comments they're talking about. If they're talking about,
I think they're talking about the whole Nathan, Lucas, Elizabeth thing.
Oh, Emily, you're bringing up something from that already happened from before, and that kind of disturbs me because I do not even want to roll around with that. I had to remove some of those comments from one of our video, and Emily's saying that there were rude comments about Nathan, a couple of the panel guests last podcast, and I just have to ignore. Not everyone likes every character. This is true. Not everyone does, and we have to be grown up about it. People made some assumptions that I should have apologized and I should have done this and I should have done that. You have no idea what I do behind the scenes, and I don't have to justify that to anyone, but I was not nasty, nor would I even want someone to feel uncomfortable on the podcast. I always want people to come back. But you are correct. Everybody has their own feelings about whatever characters. And people were saying that they didn't like Nathan's character. They thought he was behaving like a jerk. And there were times that he did. There were times when he was first on and his character said ridiculous things. Oh, maybe you don't belong here, because he didn't want to he didn't want to own up that his niece was wrong. You remember, like he was like being all, you know how some parents could get all blinded by whatever, you know, but he's evolved. I love him. I'm very much excited for his storylines.
Okay, starting at 06. The first guest I'm seeing is Rosemary's Clipboard.
Let's see.
And then the next one is Hickham's Clipboard.
Okay, whoever said Hickham's clipboard, the first person to say Hickham's clipboard is Christina Lohman. You are correct, Christina. I will be sending to you in the mail a present. Yes. And just for before we end, since this I was trying to dodge and wish that none of that would come up, is that I have always been a Heartie since day one, even before the word Heartie was even invented. And I am not the type of person who would want any kind of meanness toward anyone. If you're a guest on with me, I am so grateful that you're giving your time to share your comments with me. And I love it when I could get people, I reach out to everyone. And I know some people are afraid to come on because they're afraid of what people might say, but I like to reach out to all different kinds of people that are, there's I think it's two women that run a Flomo account for Florence and Molly. And I'm always like, girls, I've asked a couple of times and they're like, no, that's not us. We're too shy. We'll love to have them on. I always ask my ladies, I love them, from Suspenders on Buttons, Sarah and Julie. They're amazing. And I would love for having them on. And they, whatever they, before they actually became a podcast, I had them on. And, and Teresa, she's very insightful. I love having her on. Deb has been on. Christina's on. Christina's always wonderful. Kathy, you and I are the same. We're partners. I count us as the same. And, but people can disagree. And here's the thing. These are characters. These are characters in a story, you know, and people feel very passionate about the characters. And when someone says to me that like Nathan acted like a jerk back in the day, they're right. And you know what? I even said that during the podcast. Kevin McGarry was doing his job. He was like making people angry at him, and that's good. You know, he was a jerk, and that's how he was then. And you know, and then when someone's like, oh, they're so romantic, they're doing their job, you know? I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. This has been great. I love it that you tuned in. Next week, we are going to spotlight Charlotte Hegley. She is Julie, Miss Beautiful Julie. And she too will be on as a guest, but not next week because she is, you know, part of the strike. But listen, if you don't follow Charlotte on Instagram, and you're a person that prays, just say some prayers for her. Her mama has, and she shared this openly before, and she even shared it on Instagram. Her mom has been battling cancer and surviving cancer for many years, and I'm not quite sure what her illness was. I don't know if she disclosed it, but there was some kind of a hiccup recently, and she posted this beautiful, you could see them holding hands across, like it looked like a bed. They were holding, the mom and daughter were holding hands. So just keep them in prayers. Okay. Please. I have never, no one, Marianne, no one is saying that anybody said a negative comment. Marianne says, I've never made negative comments about anyone on the show. Please don't assume I have. No one is saying that anyone has. We were not talking about any of our lovely guests that tune in. We were talking about my guests, not anybody that's here. We don't need to go cuckoo and lose sight of that. We're all good. Everybody out here is good. All right. Yes, prayers for her mama. Do you want to say anything, Miss Kathy, before we depart?
Nope, just looking forward to the next 11 episodes, and just can't wait to find out what season 10. And it feels really good to look forward to this, knowing that there's going to be a season 11 eventually.
Yeah, and they're filming. They were watching too. Yeah. They showed, Andrea shared like a video of them watching. They had like a little watch party the other day on set. Yeah, on when we were watching. And it was cool because they said some kind of things at the end, you know, like, oh, thank you for watching. I think Chris said that. Pascal did. They snuck in a little tweet, which was great. Even Brian Bird snuck in a little tweet, which was nice.
So I'm just looking forward to it and looking forward to next week. Hope to see you all there.
Yes, and if you want, you could tune in on Thursdays at 8 o'clock when we are talking now. We're out of season 1. We're getting into season 2, correct? Or are we still in season 1, Miss Kathy?
I don't know. There may be a little carryover, but
Okay, a little end of season 1, rolling into the beginning of season 2, because there's like so much to talk about on that show with the Republic of Doyle. You could find some of my stuff on Instagram and watch it. You could get it on Acorn TV, free of commercials. Acorn TV is one of my favorite apps. It's not even
or
that.
Roku, if you look, that's a free app, and
Yeah.
they have commercials. They're not intrusive.
Yeah.
So, yep.
All right. Viola's here. Everybody's saying good night. Thank you. All right. I'm going to end. Bye. Let me end the broadcast. And why